and welcome to another episode of MDI TV, brought to you by Poorly Creative. If you're wondering what this is, well, we're taking part in November. All of our staff are taking part in raising money for charity to change the face of men's health for prostate cancer. So if you've got any donations, don't matter how small or large, please make your way over to the shortened link bit.ly/PC Movember, where you can put your donations forward. So today we'll be talking about link building, a topic which has come up a couple of times by our followers on Twitter. So we'll try and give you a bit of an understanding on what is link building, how it's relevant for SEO, and some of the techniques by which you can actually do to build links. So link building, effectively you've got your website, you've got all your pages and the product pages, service pages, case studies, and what you're trying to do is build links from other websites to link through to you. And by doing this, you're giving Google a signal to say how relevant your website is and how authoritative your website is. So it's important to understand what those link metrics are. You can use various tools, free or paid for, to get yourself some benchmark figures on where you currently are today. And it's a perfect time to do some benchmarking as you approach the end of the year and you start building your budgets and start planning for 2012. So look at where you're at today and benchmark yourselves against these metrics. So let's take a look at some of these metrics. Domain authority. How authoritative is your domain? And how this is calculated by, it's a score out of 100, is to say, well, how authoritative are the websites that are linking to you? So domain authority is a very big signal. How popular, how authoritative is your domain? Page authority. So this is more on a page level. How authoritative are your product pages or your service pages or the case study pages? How many other authoritative websites are linking back to your product pages to give your product page a bit more authority? And this is where advertising in or listing your products in directories will help. So if you've got, say for example, a product listing in rebaproductselector.com, remember to not only just link to your homepage, as with most marketers will do, is to think about descriptive copy and having some descriptive text that links back to your product pages or your service pages or your portfolio, your case studies. So thinking about links and which pages are going to be much more popular on your website. Linking domains. How many other domains are linking back to you? Total links. How many collective links are pointing to your website? Linking domains might be, say for example, 400, but total links might be 3,000. And the reason for that is because you might have more than one link on one particular website. So you might have a press release that's gone onto say for example, building or construction news website, but a couple of those links within the press release point to different pages on your website. So you might have one domain, but 4, 5, 6 links to various other places on your website. Very important now, social shares. So it's a way of giving Google a signal as to say, hey, here's my product and it's been shared on Twitter, LinkedIn, Facebook by people who have visited this website. Or it might be a case study, or it might be some images which have been shared on Flickr or been posted onto Facebook, Twitter, videos for example. So social shares is a big signal now. In giving Google that signal to say, hey, this is more popular. So if your competitors are allowing their content to be shared on social networks, they've got a competitive advantage over you. They're already giving Google that one signal that you're not giving, and giving it that one message to say, hey, here's one reason why you should be ranking my website or my web page above your competitors. So it's important to start thinking about those social sharing options. Domain authority and page authority are essentially scores given out of 100, and you can use various tools to kind of get these figures and understand where you are now. So link building and link metrics, important to understand how it works. And if you're wondering, if you've benchmarked where you're at now and you've got, say for example, 3,000 links pointing to your website, brilliant, well done. But your competitor over here has only got 200. However, your competitor seems to be ranking in Google for a range of search terms always above you. They always seem to be a couple of places or a couple of listings ahead of you. Well, I just want to highlight that it's not about quantity, it's about the quality of those links that are coming in. So this is where press release department or your press PR program can help, is to say, well, okay, it's not about the quantity of websites that are publishing your press release, it's about the quality of those. So I'd rather have 5 good quality websites that have my press release published rather than 100. So setting yourself a target to say, when your agency comes back and says, hey, we've had this press release that's gone out in 10, 15 different websites. Well, actually, you should be asking them, what are the quality of those websites? And if the quality is poor, it's not adding any value to you whatsoever, from a link building, from a search engine perspective. And this has a knock-on effect. If you're building the authority of your website, if you're getting those links from authoritative sources, it'll rank you higher. You'll be visible more within search engines. Therefore, it will drive more traffic through to your website. Therefore, you'll increase in conversions and lead generation and data capture. So it has a knock-on effect, and it's all integrated. And so, yeah, if you're wondering why your competitors are ranking above you, it's about quality and not quantity. And you can use various competitive tools to have a look at which websites they're linking from and to, and understand what authority scores those websites have. And how is a domain authority score given? Well, if you've got this website, these 3 websites are again high relevant websites with good domain authority. That score is passed on to this particular website, which then kind of gives it more authority to your website. So it kind of goes on into more and more websites. You can keep going and finding out which other websites potentially you could link from. So you might have a website here that you've discovered, which you may be able to link to directly from that website, so opening up more links. The other side to look at is anchor text links. What is the actual word that you're linking your website from? So this is where copywriters and your PR department will be able to kind of help. Sometimes you'll have a couple of words. So let's say, for example, this might be a rainwater harvesting. So you might create a link from rainwater harvesting that goes to your rainwater harvesting product page, or it might be a service that you offer. However, you also want to think about the long tail. So you want to write descriptive text, so more words within a phrase or a paragraph. But this one might be commercial rainwater harvesting tanks for education sector, and that link goes back to a specific page on your website. So don't just think about the 1 or 2 word links, think about the long tail words as well. And if you go back to another episode of MDI TV, we explained a little bit about what long tail keywords are and how effective they are for conversions from a search point of view. Hopefully that makes sense from an anchor text point of view. Ways of getting links. So how can you actually build links to your website? Well, first one's directories. Not any old directories. They have to be specific. You're trying to build authority from your website and giving Google a way of understanding what type of websites are linking to you. So if you're advertising or linking from directories, make sure they're relevant ones. And I've done various audits on websites, and they've come from IT type directories or completely irrelevant directories. They're not adding any value to you whatsoever. You may decide to do sponsorships or partnerships, and this is where your marketing plan comes into play. What events are you sponsoring? What organisations are you sponsoring? Any charities that you're sponsoring? Any local university events or local community events that you're sponsoring? How can you link from their website to yours? just by simply having your logo. And it's done very, very often. This technique helps from a link building perspective. Article syndication, your press releases, getting them out into various websites. But again, one of the concerns that I have is its low quality. With the recent Google Panda update, Google now looks at these websites and kind of penalises them because they're copied content. They're seen as content that appears here, this website, this website, this website, and it's exactly the same. So be careful of article syndication. It's good by getting the number of links out there, but the quality of them could be quite poor. This one I like, badges. So creating badges which other people or other marketers or other companies can actually have displayed on their website. So if you're, let's say for example, EcoBuild, if you're exhibiting at EcoBuild, now a technique that they can use to build links to their website is to give all of its exhibitors a badge to put on their website and have a link that goes to their profile page on the EcoBuild website. So having these badges to display on websites to link back to yours is a great way of building links, especially for membership type websites or events or exhibitions. Commenting, so actually taking the time to comment on blogs. Now, majority of blogs, the links will be no followed, so Google won't follow those links, but occasionally you'll come across some blogs that allow Google to follow those links. So if you can comment on blog posts, and I'm going back to relevancy here, relevant blog posts. Guest posting. So again, getting your PR agency or your PR department involved. Where can you find opportunities to write content on other websites? So an example might be the Guardian Eco Environment section of the website. If you've got something to say about the environment, can you actually get your post or your content onto a Guardian website and have a link back to yours? If you can get a link from the Guardian website to yours, you know, the authority score of Guardian is massive, it's really high. So again, this is where trying to take the time and getting the content onto Guardian is better than focusing on 4 weeks of trying to build yourself 500 links from low quality, low domain authority type websites. Social media, you know, create content, create good quality content that people spread on Twitter, on Facebook, and an example might be if you go onto the Poorly Creative blog, we recently did a survey where we surveyed some architects on how they use Twitter, and we presented the results as an infographic. It's actually a picture, a diagram, a visual interpretation, a visual representation, of the actual results. And that picture, that image, was then linked to in other people's blog posts. So they took the image and then they put it onto their websites with a link back to our websites. And I think we managed to build up about 250 links from other architectural type websites through to ours. So now we've given that signal to Google to say, hey, we're involved in the construction industry, we're also part of the architectural community. Which is, you know, this is the kind of stuff you need to be doing. So hopefully that gives you an insight into link building, various ways, the metrics, what it means, and how what you should be looking at, particularly from your competitors. Where are they linking from? Which websites can you potentially link, get a link onto to your website, and then having a look at the links that are pointing to their website. So continuously looking at how you can build links. Now, going into 2012, it's more and more about content. It's more and more about writing and providing value to your visitors, to your readers, to your community. So whatever you do, don't try and look at links from a quantity point of view. It's all about the quality. It's much better to have 5 good quality links than 1,000 links which provide no value and actually don't add any authority to your website. So hopefully that wraps up a bit, gives you an insight into link building. If you've got any questions, please do tweet us at Poorly Creative, or if you've got any topics that you'd like us to cover, then feel free to let us know and we'll cover them as and when we can. Thank you very much for joining us. I'd just like to remind you of the Movember link, bit.ly PC Movember, if you've got any donations that you'd like to put forward. Thank you very much for joining us. Join us again next time.